Hey my friends, how's it going? It's Ultimus, and today we have some 2v2 arenas for you. Now, there's a fun story to start this one off. I ended up, I kid you not, I met this guy at Starbucks. I was hanging out and getting some coffee for the road and saw this dude playing WoW, and so, of course, being the kind of guy that can strike up a conversation with anybody, just about anything, and talk like we've been talking for years, we started talking about the game. Gave him my B tag and said if he wanted to arena, hit me up, and about a week later we finally had some schedule alignment going on and we were able to get together and do some arenas. So he plays a plethora of different classes, but he said since I was playing my warrior he would bring heals, and of course I was not complaining, which means I got to play arms. So first match, we're coming up here against, as you can see, an Affliction Warlock and a Holy Paladin. Now my big goal here is to sit Warlock for a bit and just CC the Paladin, because I do not want the Warlock free casting. That's just the general rule of thumb. There's some classes you can let do their thing and it's fine, but when it comes to Affliction Warlocks, especially since I'm playing with a Discipline Priest, you do not want to let them free cast. Now, I know the Observer is the go-to silencing pet for Warlocks, and so instead of letting that pet just go to town on my Paladin, or sorry, my Priest, I'm going to try to do some damage on it, especially because I noticed the Paladin was not healing it. So, still trying to split my pressure a little bit here. My big goal here, and this is what's going to aid to us winning, is because Warriors are such a cleave-heavy class, I want to try to create my own swaps and cleaves, since I'm not really getting a whole lot of damage out of my Discipline Priest, which is completely fine because I want him to be able to focus on healing me. So I'm trying to put them in a position to where they have to stick close together, or at least I can get the cleave damage going on the Warlock pet and the Warlock himself. As you see, that Warlock pet is getting really, really low here, and it's going to go down, which allows me to pull off that extra victory rush. So that's going to help my healer out a lot, take a little bit of pressure off him. We got this the proc from the Paladin there on the auto bubble there. I always forget the name of that spell, I'm not going to lie. Total new move. But at this point, since we got the Warlock low, I'm swapping over to the Paladin a little bit, just saving my Stormbolt exclusively for the Paladin. Warlock is getting pretty low, but it's not going to be enough. They definitely have their CC and their fears on point, which is definitely good for them. It kind of sucks for us. It's always frustrating to get a target that low and still have nothing. But as you can see right here, they're sitting close enough together for me to pull off that fear, which is going to help. Wanting to time my spell reflects just right. This one's tough because there's a lot of good stuff I can reflect from the Warlock, but then I also don't want to just let the Paladin free cast Hodges into me, though my typical initial thought is that they're going to save him for my Priest anyways. So still trying to just lay into that Warlock. Just continue to go, and again, putting them in this position right here, they're closer together so we can benefit from some of that cleave damage. Because if I can put them in a position to where the Paladin has to choose between healing himself or the Warlock, I can capitalize on whoever is not being healed and try to score the kill. Definitely wanting to make sure I'm keeping my damage going into those Colossus smashes. Not always the easiest to do. Sometimes I get a little tunnel vision, not gonna lie. But the hardest part with this match is for sure just trying to create my own source of cleave pressure and swaps. Now the Warlock here ports behind his box, which is not necessarily the best place to be because it puts him in a line of sight situation with his healer. He was able to get out there and still recover, but it made his healer have to work a little bit harder than normal. And as you can see, the Warlock pretty much has nothing left defensive-wise. I mean, he's got Dark Soul, which is a big damage buff, but it's not really going to be enough to keep him alive when it comes to protecting against some of the big damage. They do recover here a little bit better than before because he's got that bop going on him. And I've decided to take my Shattering Throw and use it there instead of saving it for the Paladin, because we're not really putting a whole lot of damage into the Paladin in this case. Just trying to pop cooldowns and put as much pressure in. Swap to the Paladin though for that fear to try to set me up so I can get back over. For whatever reason, my charge was not going off. I don't know why. I think I need to reevaluate my macro and just to see what's going on here. They popped that fear into me instead of my Paladin. I think they're starting to feel the pressure, that's for sure. With dampening coming in, and just the overall damage from Arms Warriors when it comes to bleeds, timing your Mortal Strikes into those Colossus smashes, and then the healing reduction from Mortal Strike itself, it just puts a lot of pressure. Trying to force that Paladin to go on the defensive and focus on himself and run away rather than the Warlock. A lot of Arms Warrior gameplay comes down to just good swaps, and that's something I'm learning as I'm continuing to arena. Nothing, you know, high rated obviously, but just some of the things that I'm learning from some of my bigger wins has been just effective swaps, knowing when to swap, swapping at the right time. So still trying to lay a little bit of damage into the Warlock pet as well, and this time I'm going to completely swap over. It was kind of hesitant to do it, but I figured the Warlock pet was so low, and the Paladin just isn't healing it. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just something that the Paladin doesn't know, if we're just that low in arenas that they're still learning. So I try not to be too critical of stuff like that, but that definitely put them at a disadvantage. Being able to capitalize on that Warlock pet kill and be able to get that victory rush off saves my healer a ton of effort, and especially because my healer is running relatively low on mana, 26% now, so that's not exactly in the best spot. You'll chew through that pretty quickly, so I want to be a little more conscious of that. I still have Enrage Regen, which is very, very helpful, and as you can see, both of these classes are getting very, very low. Warlock is at about 25% or so, 35%, and the Paladin isn't doing much better. Finally healed himself back up, but the Warlock is definitely in a dicey position there. We got that proc again on him, so once we get through that, we're in a better position. But this match is just about over in a little bit here. We're putting so much pressure on them that they're having to make decisive moves, and they're just falling behind, unfortunately. Which is nice, because usually playing with a Priest puts us at a disadvantage, because Priests are not the best when it comes to PvP. Compared to Shamans, Druids, all the other classes, even Holy Paladins. Holy Paladins are among some of the best healing specs when it comes to the game right now. And as you can see, with that Paladin running back behind that ledge there to save himself, put him in a position to where he was not able to heal his Warlock, and that cost them the game. Warrior Cleave Pressure for the win. This match here going up against a Disciplined Priest and a Survival Hunter, and I'm realizing that since I'm playing with a Priest, I don't need to have Commanding Shout on. I can use Battle Shout. Total noob move. Also, speaking of noob moves, I'm pretty sure that Hunter missed his trap. Not sure what was up with that. As soon as we saw that going down, I knew we were in a decent position, at least skill-wise, more or less. I mean, damage-wise, they probably had us in a better position. Hunters are just a better class of warriors at this moment. But strategy is same as last time. Start off on the Hunter, CC the Priest, and just try to put that Priest in a position to where he's going to have to make choices between healing himself or healing the Hunter. Now, there is a moment in this game, spoilers here, where we make a pretty gnarly swap and just start going ham on that Priest. Blew that fear there for a second to get that fear ward off. It did catch the Hunter there. Now the Hunter is behind the pillar, so he can't be healed. He's popping to turns to save himself from that gnarly warrior pressure. I'm getting gripped just in time to be saved to go back on top of that Priest, making the swap. Now as you can see, this Priest is just getting hammered into. Don't have any interrupts for the pendants. He's choosing to heal that Hunter there for whatever reason. Got a Stormbolt full him, and that's pretty much going to be what puts him in a position where he's not able to recover. He's got a couple bubbles left, but it just isn't going to be enough. Between Colossus smashes and executes, there's no way he can recover at that point. But that's pretty much those two games. Hope you guys enjoyed. As always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Still shooting for 500 subs by summertime, and I'd love your support to get there. So thanks for watching, guys, as always, and I will catch you next time.